here we are with the 2016 season fastly approaching. We have most of our food plots done. We've had our muddy trail cameras out for about the last month and a half. Tyler's had a really nice buck show up on a new farm that he just got for us this year to hunt. On the farm that I'll be spending most of my time on, I had a buck show up that I call Captain Hook. He's a 4.5-year-old triple main beam buck that's going to be in the upper 150s, low 160s. This particular farm doesn't tend to heat up until mid to late October. During that time frame, I'm going to be looking for a particular buck that I call Hercules. Last year at 4.5, he was a 6x5, probably going to be in the lower 160s, and had the frame to really grow into something special. At 5.5, I can't wait to see what he could turn into. He typically shows up in that mid to late October time frame, sticks around through the rut, and then he disappears again. There's a couple other bucks that I'll be looking forward to, and hopefully run into one of them. All in all, I just want to thank Bill Winkie and all the guys at Midwest Whitetail for giving us this opportunity.
Slow down that, and that makes like a saddle right there. And that's where I was getting Eeyore all the time.
So after meeting with everybody in the Midwest Whitetail crew up in Albia, the team and I are really excited to get the 2016 season rolling. So far, we've got a few of our Pro Cam 12s out from Muddy, and a couple of good bucks are showing up. We're going to reveal our hit list here and the content to come, as it really hasn't fully developed. I want to talk about two bucks in particular today. Both these deer on the farm behind my parents' house. This is the first year that I've ever had two 4-year-old bucks that I know of make it. 3-year-old bucks make it to be 4 years old, where I'll be hunting them as 4-year-old deer. The first deer I want to go over here is a mainframe 10-pointer, long main beams before he got chewed up here. I had 2 years of history with him. I have the matching set to him as well as a 2-year-old, and one shed of him as a 3-year-old. Had tons of encounters with him. So Brook and Nose 10, really excited to get hunting him, and he'll be number 2 on my hit list. Number 1 hit lister here is a deer I call Scarface. I had tons and tons of encounters with him, daylight pictures, nighttime pictures. He was all over the place. Showed a lot of 3-year-old behavior, and from looking at this shed, I didn't realize in camera pictures how big he actually was. He has 11-inch G2s, 19-inch main beams, almost 6-inch mass. If he is a 3-year-old, that's everything that you want right there. Picked up a new farm. I have one good buck on there that I call Newbie. First buck to ever come up on the cameras, and first of 3 bucks, with 2 of them being just yearling bucks. So I'm really excited to see what that farm will produce. It's all about the deer. We're really excited to get the hit list going, make this storyline unfold, and it should be a good 2016 season from what we have here so far.
Well, here it is, mid-August. It's going to be an interesting year to say for us with the new improvements that we've recently done to BBA. Doubled the size of our food plot and logged the farm. It's going to be interesting to see how the deer use it now with it all being opened up versus before it was just 2 food plots. Cameras are kind of slow so far with all the activity on the farm. We don't have any shooters on camera right now, but we know that we have a 6.5-year-old 8 named Hank that's still around, a 5.5-year-old 9 named Nubbins. Them are the 2 deer we're really looking forward to hunting this year. Hopefully they show up. With a little luck, hopefully we'll get something on the ground.
my summer food plots are looking really good. My milo's looking awesome. My soybeans are looking good. We're getting a lot of key rains this year. That leads me into some of the bucks that I have coming up this year. Hopefully they'll come back up on my cameras. I have one deer that's a big 9-pointer. That was a 4-year-old last year. I had him as a 3-year-old also. He was about a 150-inch deer last year, and I'm hoping he'll show back up to the farm. He usually shows up later in the summer and stays throughout the fall till about the first week of November, and he usually disappears. I also have another buck that's a big 10-pointer. He was a 3-year-old last year, but his body it's really big. It looks big for a 3-year-old, but I'm really excited about him. He was about upper 120s. Hopefully he'll put on 20 inches this year and be in mid 140s, maybe 150s. Also, I have another deer coming up this year. He's going to be a 5-year-old, and he is going to be a stud. He's got 2 split G2s, and he's a mainframe 10-pointer. I've had him since he was a 3-year-old, and as a 3-year-old, he was a real homebody deer. I got him throughout the season until about the second week of November. He disappeared on me, and I didn't get any more pictures of him. Was worried about him. And this year, or last year, 2015, I got one picture of him November 17th, right during lockdown phase, and I just got one picture of him running by, and he put on a ton of mass and length on his points. He's probably almost 160, and I'm hoping he'll come back this year. I harvested this deer last year in the same area that he'll be in, and he was kind of the coal buck of the area. He kind of run the show there, and he was pushing off all the other mature 4-year-olds out of the area. And hopefully now that I harvested him, he'll come back to the area and be more frequent. I also got a deer that was a 13-pointer last year, and he had a really funky point coming off his main beam. Really cool looking deer. Not super wide, but he has a lot of potential, and I'm really excited about him. I got pictures of him as a 3-year-old, one picture late in November, and then last year I got a ton of pictures of him. I got him throughout the summer, and then later in the season, later in November, he started to show back up once the later season patterns started to come into play, and he kind of got back on his summer feeding pattern as I had a soybean field in the area where he was summer feeding. So he is going to be something. I don't know what he can blow into. If he puts on 20 inches, he might, who knows, he might be upper 160s. He's a beautiful deer, so I'm really excited about him too. All in all, I'm really excited to be with Midwest Whitetails. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, and I'm excited for summer to end, this heat, and some cold fronts to move in, and for hunting season to begin.